Hey, and welcome back to the next part in my dialing in series for our Line 6 Helix. This week, I am actually taking a request that I had a while back on, I believe it was a YouTube comment, to take a crack at dialing in an Yngwie Malmsteen style tone. So I thought, man, I'm a big fan of Yngwie for a long time. He was a big influence years ago. I don't maybe listen to him quite as much anymore, but he was definitely a big influence growing up. And that tone, he has a really interesting tone. So one of my favorite albums by him was his first solo album. It's called Rising Force, I guess. So I thought I would kind of attack that tone and see if I could come close to it. I just want to make a disclaimer right off the top here. Like I say in all my videos, and like I always try to say, I'm not trying to match tones or professing that I can match these tones. I'm trying to come close. I'm trying to get something that works, that's in the ballpark. I know sometimes I use maybe even different amps or different effects, obviously different guitars and different pickups. It just seems like I always get a lot of comments on YouTube about, oh, no, you didn't use the right amp or you didn't use the right pick. I've had that one. What was it, the Brian May one? You should have used a penny. You should have used a sixpence. And the answer is, if you want to use one of those, go ahead and use it. You know what I mean? It's just more about getting the tone somewhere close and as a starting point for everybody to use, You guys can tweak it however you want. If you want to use a different pick, use a different pick. If you want to use a different guitar, use a different guitar. So again, I don't know how many other ways to say it. That's why I even titled the videos, right? Yngwie Malmsteen'ish, far beyond the sun-esque, right? It's just, I don't want to ever come across as saying, hey, look, if I was professing that I've matched the tone, then okay, I understand if I get some criticism for it. But just trying to come close, give you guys a starting point. And sometimes, you know what? People will disagree with it. Maybe I don't think I did a good job on it. And that's fine. That's fine. This is just for my ears and my liking. So anyways, that's out of the way. I want to get that out of the way first, just so I don't have to answer like 50 comments after about how people don't think I should use a different amp or pick or whatever, comb my hair different. Yeah, right. Anyways, okay, so let's dive in. So I decided to use Far Beyond the Sun kind of as my reference. I actually just did that thing I do a lot of times with Curvy Q and Cubase. And I just kind of analyze the frequency spectrum on just to, if I can do that with a little snippet and the little snippet that... I just kind of grabbed that little run and kind of looked at the EQ curve, and there was some pretty interesting things happening. So I did choose the, if we go over here to Helix or HX Edit, I chose the Brit Plexi Norm, okay, going with a Marshall style amp, which Yngwie's known for playing. And what I did with that, I paired it up with a 412 Greenback 25 with 160 ribbon mic. I have two of my split crossover blocks, just because I was trying to get two different areas and I didn't need them for anything else, so I used both paths. So let's just look at the amp settings. Right now, all I have is my compressor at the end. Everything else is turned off. I have a reverb, a delay, the split crossovers. Those are all turned off, so I do have my compressor on. But what you're hearing here is the settings that I used on just the Brit Plexi Norm. So the drive was on 10, bass way back at 3, mid and treble, both jacked up to 10, presence at 6.5, channel volume at 8, master up to 10, and the deeper parameters I didn't really touch. So what that sounded like is this. Okay. Not very Yngwie-ish at this point. It seldom is going to be just going direct into the amp. So I started looking at that and seeing what I had to do frequency-wise. Well, obviously, the other thing, it doesn't have enough sustain or singing quality that Yngwie had to his sound, right? Now, that's on the bridge pickup. I was also dialing in with the neck pickup. Okay, again, it doesn't have that sustain. On Far Beyond the Sun, I believe he kind of starts off the song with the bridge pickup, all that, and then when he gets into that's more the neck pickup. Okay, so obviously not very Yngwie-ish yet. So I went right away and added some more overdrive to it, and I chose the valve driver. I wanted a very singing, smooth distortion. I find that the valve driver is good for that. So when I turned that on, You got some single coil noise, as you can hear there. I had the gain at 4.5, bass at 4.6, treble at 4.4, and level at 6.6, and that created this. Starting to get there. We got a little more. A little more sustain now. Yngwie's sound isn't super distorted, but there is lots of sustain, and it has almost a clean type of distortion, if that makes any sense. So I was kind of happy with that. But obviously the frequencies weren't quite there. So I actually did something a little different with my split crossovers. I went to a different point, 4 kilohertz. I did nothing to the frequencies below that, but the frequencies above that, I went way up, 8.8 decibels. That was my main EQ here. With that turned on before, with that on, whatever those runs are. Sorry, I'm going to probably butcher a lot of Yngwie riffs during the course of this video. Also, I have a performance video that's up. I forgot to mention that in the beginning, which should be up on my channel now when this is released as well, with me butchering more of Far Beyond the Sun, except over a backing track. So, yeah, so go easy on me with the Yngwie stuff. Okay, so it wasn't the only split crossover I used. I also came into one even higher, up at 9 kilohertz, did nothing below that, but I boosted that another 3 dB. So again, the sound before that, with that on, is this. All right, more butchered lines. All right, so that wasn't quite perfect yet. So I went into it with an EQ now, because I boosted so much up in the upper, high, mids, and upper frequencies. I came in with a parametric EQ at the end, and I rolled off everything above 12 kilohertz, everything below 100 hertz. At 170 hertz with a very narrow Q, I dropped down 4 decibels just to get the low end a little more where I wanted it. At 1.7 kilohertz to get a little bit of that mid-range down, Q of 2.5, I pulled out 2 dB, and I went up to 8 kilohertz with a Q of 2.6 and added another 4 dB. So without it, again, that sounded like this. That's on the neck pickup, mind you. With that on, all right. I also added some verb in there. I used a hall with a decay of 5, a pre-delay of 20 milliseconds, and a mix of 31%. And that sounds like that just really brought the tone together, gave it some ambience, right? Okay. And I also brought in a delay. I didn't want it to be an overly obvious delay. So what I did is I set it at the tempo of the song, 168, quarter notes, feedback of 0. So I would only get a single repeat timed with the song, so it would kind of blend in with the backing track and not be so noticeable. Just add a nice ambience to it, and a fairly low mix of 18%. With that in it, with it off, okay, that's the tone right there. Bridge pickup. Whatever that comes to. Anyways, so that's the tone. On its own, it's kind of has a bit of an abrasiveness on the bridge pickup. Neck pickup, I really like it. It sounds really nice for this song. And probably work pretty good for a lot of Yngwie material. So, again, I'll start with the disclaimer. I'll end with the disclaimer. I did not profess to dial in Yngwie's exact tone, but I think it is something that's going to work nicely. It has that nice pick attack. The bottom end seems close. The top end has that bite, especially that works nicely in the mix. So this will be up on CustomTone for anybody who's interested. I'll have it up there. I'll post the link down below, and if I forget, like I oftentimes do, please remind me, and I'll put it up. And I don't mind sending it out there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks so much again for tuning in. Leave me your comments and your feedback. It's great. And we'll see you very soon. Please like the video, subscribe, share if you haven't already. And I'll be back with some more content real soon. All right, take care for now. Thanks for tuning in, and ciao.